Hello, I'm Irma Baker. Welcome to our show. Today we have a special guest who is going to tell us about a program that helps seniors help little kids. And we'll get right to her after this message from our sponsor, Mature Services, with its RSVP Retired Senior Volunteer Program.
RSVP of Summit County has been making a difference in our community since 1972. RSVP volunteers are increasing the quality of life by participating in programs and organizations that provide important services to the community. RSVP matches personal interests and skills with opportunities to serve. If you're interested in adding more meaning to your life and improving the lives of others, please call 330-253-4597 extension 166.
Welcome back. Our guest today is Lois Lumsden, and Lois is an intergenerational tutor here in Wadsworth. And Lois, it's just a wonderful opportunity to have you with us today.
Thank you.
I'm glad you could be with us to tell us about the Oasis Intergenerational Tutoring Program. I've had a chance to learn a little bit about it, and I find it fascinating. You've been involved in it how long?
I've been involved now for 5 years.
For 5 years, and have had a chance to really get into it. What I find fascinating about it is that it's national, for one thing. This is one of something like 20 cities around the country, helping thousands of students. And it is really focused on the intergenerational aspect. Well, we have a little video that tells us about the program, and then I want to talk to you about how you're doing it.
Sure.
So let's look at the video.
Hi, I'm here for Emma. Oh, Emma's ready. Thank you.
Some children, for a variety of reasons, don't progress at the same level as their peers. They struggle to learn to read. And often one-on-one intervention would really make the difference for a child.
There were so many students that were falling through the cracks. When you start with the students at the beginning of the year and as they develop throughout the year, it's amazing to see the transformation. Children who want to read, want to learn, want to progress.
And our tutors really provide something that in the education world we can't provide. We don't have the time to give an hour one-on-one to a child every week like our Oasis volunteers do, and they care so much. They build those relationships with our kids and they spend that quality time with them that really sparks their motivation for learning, and it gives them a reason for wanting to come to school and to do better.
The curriculum for the program was developed by professional educators specifically for Oasis, and it complements and supports the reading programs that are in use in schools today. Many of the things that the tutors learn are role-played and practice. So by the time they leave training, the tutors have the skills and the techniques, and they've also the confidence that I can do this important work.
I think one of the things that really impressed me was the fact that there was not a lot of guesswork involved. They would be sending you out fully equipped.
And I've been in a tutoring program for about 15 years. We've had tutors come that have been very reluctant, and after a few sessions they just jump right in and then stay with it.
We have seen great growth in our students' reading scores. The literacy development has been significant in relation to the kids who have participated in the Oasis tutoring. And what's great about that is not only does it help us with the reading, but also it bridges over into all the other subject areas, and our students are excelling academically in large part because of the Oasis program.
It's good for the child, it's good for the tutor, and for the teachers. Something to do that helps other people, which is the most important thing that anyone can do, is to help others.
This is so rewarding, and once you get hooked, you will be so happy you got involved. You got to help our kids, you know?
In studies, volunteers are actually healthier and happier than the people who don't volunteer. Oasis tutors tell us, I get as much out of this or more than I give.
When you're tutoring, you think, am I doing any good? Then I thought, I've made so many friends through the tutoring program that I can't give it up because I love it too much. And then I know that the child, at the end, we always have fun. After your year is done, you're always glad that you did it.
Joy, that's the word I use to describe my tutoring. It gives me joy.
It's not only helping the kids, but it's helping the adults. It's keeping us involved with what's going on in the world.
There are so many children that have such a desire to learn. It's great being around these children, it really is. Oasis is really having an impact on children's lives.
Learning and learning and learning. I'm so excited. So excited.
It's certainly a wonderful program, Lois. How did you get involved in it?
Well, I was a teacher in Wadsworth City Schools for 26 years, and when I retired, I was just kind of looking around for something else to do to give back a little. And I saw the article in the newspaper, in the free newspaper we get every week. I saw the article with Roger Haven's name, and go to Franklin School or call this number, and that's how it started.
Were you a little nervous about getting into the tutoring program? You were bringing so much experience as a teacher to it.
What I was nervous about was I was a high school teacher and I loved it. And here all of a sudden they were little kids. Very different, but very, very fun. And it's a whole different world, and I appreciate it so much.
Well, that's very interesting, because here you are, an experienced teacher, but this program doesn't require that.
Absolutely. There are several teachers in the program, people who, like me, just wanted to be able to give back, but most of the people are just wonderful older folks who wanted to find some way to give back to the community, and this provides it. There's a little bit of training they give you, which is plenty, and there's support, and if you have any problems, there are people to talk with about it, but it's not real tough to do.
One of the nice things about the program is that you work with the same child throughout the school year, and you work on school premises.
Yes. Yes, we always work with the same kid throughout the school year, and the first year they hooked me up with a wonderful kindergarten teacher, and we clicked together, so every year I work with her. So that makes it very, very nice, because every year I know her program, I know what she's going to do, and work with the kid during the year. And in fact, one year she was expecting a baby herself, and so she left and she came back and she was stunned at the improvement the kid had made. And every day I don't see that improvement, but because she missed all those months, then she could see there was a lot of improvement, which was encouraging to me.
And the children that you're working with, they're in kindergarten through 4th grade.
Yes.
And they're not the learning disabled students.
No.
What kind of students are they?
They're kids who just in some way have a need. Some of them have, maybe there's a lot of kids at home and they don't get a lot of attention. Or maybe they come home to an empty house, or their mom and dad are working, so they have to go to a program, but there's not really an adult to talk with. Some of them have just all kinds of different things going on. I had a friend whose child was very bright and went through Oasis because she was shy. And just talking one-on-one with an adult and reading books and writing things was just very helpful for her.
You enjoy it too?
Very much.
How did you get acquainted with the student? Is it just like you said, you just get assigned to a student?
The teacher chooses a student who will benefit. And she gives me very little background information because there's privacy issues and I don't want to know what I shouldn't know. But she gives me a very little bit of information, so I know a little bit about this, and it's always been a little girl I've had so far, so that I know a little bit about her. And then I go to class and meet her, and the teacher always says, "This is Mrs. Lumsden and she's my friend." And so that puts the child at ease right away. Well,
when you meet with the student, and you do this once a week, you meet with the student, what do you do? I'm at Overlook School, and there's right outside of the teacher's room is an area with a table and chairs. And so Oasis gives us some little books, and one is all about me. Excuse me. So we start with that usually, and since she's a kindergartner, she can't fill it out herself, so we work together on filling that out. And that gives me a lot of information. What's your favorite color, and what's your favorite thing to eat, and what's your favorite thing to do outside, and
who lives in your house, and all kinds of interesting things. So she gets to draw pictures, and I can encourage her from the very beginning. And then the teacher also gives me a list of word wall words, of the words that the kids should be able to read by the end of first grade, and they go by the month. So I have flashcards that I've made. So we go over the flashcards, and I help encourage them to make sure they have those words nailed by the end of kindergarten.
How do the kids react to having this new friend?
I have never had a kid who wasn't happy. They like, kindergarten rooms tend to be busy with a lot of action going on, and the kindergartners are happy to be away from that, and to have, it's kind of special for them. They seem to really like it.
Do they greet you, and just when you take a child into this area, this learning area where you're working with a child, how do you get them started?
I usually I say, I'm Mrs. Lumsden, and I'm going to be your tutor for the year, and we're going to work on things, and you are going to be so smart when you're done, you're not going to believe it.
I'll bet that makes them feel real good.
Yeah.
Well, what are some of the things, and I'm asking this because I know you have a special skill that is perhaps unique to you among tutors, and I think what it points out is that you can bring your own skills to this session. You aren't tied down to a specific curriculum. So tell us a little bit about the special skill that you bring to tutoring.
Well, when I started tutoring, I really didn't. And I remember Roger Havens saying that whatever was interesting to us may also be interesting to the student. We might want to collect coins, or we might have just a special interest of some kind. And I really didn't have one. And then I fell into a signing class. And I had always been interested in signing, but this just worked out really well. So a friend offered signing classes for like 6 or 7 weeks at a library in Akron, and I went. And so I told Heather Pantoja, my teacher, I said, I fell into a signing class. Would you like me to? Oh, yes, would you please? So I didn't even get it all out. She was so happy about this. So when she teaches a letter to the students, what I do is an hour is a long time with a kindergartner. So I will usually work with the kindergartner for 45 minutes or so, and then I go into the classroom and I teach all the kids whatever letter she's working on, and some words that start with that letter, some sound symbol relationship. And if she's working on days of the week, I teach them the days of the week. And it's really stretched me because there were I'm not a very good signer. I don't know very much at all.
Well, I think maybe we should back up a little bit. And when we're talking about signing, we're talking about American Sign Language.
ASL.
The ASL system of signing for people who are hearing impaired. But you're not working with hearing impaired.
Nope. And it's just a wonderful, it's a new language. I didn't realize this when I started, but American Sign Language is a foreign language. And that, of course, is wonderful for your brain. To learn another language is excellent for your brain. And so the kids, and I tell the kids that, it's like learning Spanish or French or Chinese. So they're excited about that they can learn a foreign language when they're so young.
Well, is kindergarten too early to learn sign language?
Actually, you can start kids as young as 6 months old start learning sign language and start communicating with their parents. And in kindergarten, it's a prime age because they're just anxious to learn everything. They want to learn everything they can.
How many students have you worked with the sign language?
Well, probably 4 classes every year. And one year they were actually getting a deaf child in school, so they asked me to work with the first grade teacher to help her get ready for this child. So and then I just continued working with her. So there was really 2 classes every year that I work with.
When you are using sign language in your tutoring sessions, how do you incorporate it?
Well, what I like to do is, a lot of the sight words are also sign words. So she gets stuck on this, I say, oh yeah, that's this. It's really interesting that extra step in there helps them remember the words.
Well, you brought along some books, and they're fascinating to me. Let's see what we have here. I love this one, Essential Baby Sign Language. But we're not talking really about babies so much as the fact that anyone can learn it.
And if I always encourage my kids the students I work with to teach somebody else sign language. If you have a little brother and sister at home, teach them sign language. And they do. And if someone was going to learn sign language and picked up that book and learned those signs, that would be a great start.
Well, I think that I'd love to practice some signs with you right now. You brought along just a regular alphabet.
Mm-hmm.
Got some alphabet cards here. Mm-hmm. If I show you a card, can you show us the
Sure.
sign that goes along with it? Well, let's see here. How about R?
Okay, this is the sign for R, twisted finger.
Mm-hmm.
And if you brush your lips with R, that's red. And if you do 2 R's and shiver, that's the sign for refrigerator. So that's how I teach the kids, and that helps them with the sound symbol relationship also.
So it's not just alphabet.
Right.
The sign language actually indicates certain words.
Absolutely.
Or conditions, perhaps, such as